My ex-wife is now dating one of my groomsmen from our wedding, and it's killing me.
I would like to tell my story to this community, as the last several months have truly been a nightmare, and I am needing help navigating this situation. My ex-wife had an affair with one of my closest friends, and is now dating him. We do not even have a settled divorce yet. I will do my best to be honest and forthcoming in explaining how this situation came to be. We first met at summer camp in 2013. We were counselors at our respective camps, where we had both been campers during our childhood. These are traditional, sleepaway camps in Maine. They are truly historic institutions that have been around for over 100 years, and boast amazing traditions, families that have sent multiple generations of sons and daughters, and many staff who have spent 20 summers or more. These camps are affiliated, and are considered brother-sister camps. They are close to one another, celebrate their histories together, and have many social gatherings during the summer. Camp has always been a home to me. My ex-wife and I share a deep emotional connection to these camps, and so do thousands of other people who have been lucky enough to spend their summers there. Meeting a partner who shared the special bond of camp was a dream come true, especially for me because I had devoted so much of my life to that place, and it had become a major part of my identity. We met in July at a counselor party in the woods. I have always been shy and introverted, but she was outgoing and had a wonderful personality. I will never forget the moment she came up to me next to the fire. She made me feel wanted. What began as something casual that summer quickly turned into something more. 2 months later, I was visiting her in Seattle, where she was doing a grad program. It just felt right. However, our different lines of work forced the relationship to be long distance for several years. We did camp in the summers, and saw each other regularly through the off-season from 2013-2016. She worked a couple different teaching jobs, and I operated a small construction company, while also doing some work at camp in the off-season. Eventually, she got a job teaching at a boarding school in Massachusetts. After her first year there, I applied for a job and was hired as well. We were finally living together after having been long distance for 4 years. Working that job together was certainly not easy. It was a boarding school for middle school boys. This required intense supervision, putting them to bed, waking them in the morning, and working every other weekend. Teaching was challenging in many ways. I never really envisioned myself as a teacher, and in hindsight, I think this led to many problems. However, the vacations were great, and we got the summers off, which meant we could continue going to camp. I want to emphasize that while our relationship was in many ways built around camp, we did share a unique bond as people. We understood each other. We shared hobbies and interests. We went through so much together, and we certainly loved each other from the deepest place of our hearts. I cared for her so deeply. In February of 2021, my 4th year teaching, I finally proposed. We had been together for about 8 years at that point. It was definitely time, and I feel bad for making her wait so long. For me, it was never about my love for her. It was more so about feeling like life was settled and I was in a good position to get married. Financially, career-wise, etc., I always knew she was the one, but for whatever reason I didn't act on these feelings until I saw it as perfect timing. I know she wanted me to propose long before I did, but nonetheless, it was the happiest moment of our lives. We would end up getting married in front of a huge crowd of our families and closest friends, many of whom were camp people, in December of that year, 2021. Here is where the story gets ugly. In August of 2021, one of my lifelong camp friends and soon-to-be groomsmen in our wedding got hired at the school we worked at. He, like many others, wanted to try teaching because it allowed him to return to camp in the summer. I was thrilled to have a close friend working at school with me. However, there was a bit of an awkward history between him and my ex-wife. During the 2nd year we were dating, I learned that the two of them were texting on a regular basis and in an intimate way. It was nothing sexual, but it did make me weary of what was going on when I looked at her phone. I confronted her about this, and it stopped. When he got hired at school, I'll admit I felt slightly uneasy, but that was almost 7 years ago, and he and I were extremely close friends. I let it go. I do want to admit that I have always been envious of my now former friend. He is tall, very athletic, extremely intelligent, talented as a woodworker, and according to women I have heard from, very attractive. For some reason I have always compared myself to him, in almost an obsessive way. Fast forward to the next school year, 2022. He has moved into the apartment right down the hall from me and my ex-wife as the dorm parent at the other end of the hall. I felt a strange sense of dread when I learned this news. It was supposed to be exciting to be that close to a dear friend, but it was as if I could see something bad was going to happen. That whole school year, which was last year 22-23, was like standing on train tracks, and knowing the train was coming, but for some reason not being able to get out of the way. Every interaction between him and my ex-wife slowly started to make me more and more uncomfortable. I observed the two of them like a hawk. He was the attractive bachelor that would come over to hang out with me, and flirt with my wife in the process. It made me sick, but I kept it in. Towards the spring term, I really began to think something was going on. There was a night when I found the two of them alone at midnight in the dorm common room, 1.5 hours after they had put the students to bed, sitting on the couch next to each other, almost whispering. It was so uncomfortable. I confronted them. They could sense the discomfort in my expressions, and we all went to bed. I began to notice my ex-wife taking her phone into the bathroom with her, and that she had put a passcode on it. Towards the end of the year, the energy between them was so observable that there were rumors among some of the other faculty members that they were sleeping with each other. As the school year was ending, and we were preparing to go to camp, my ex-wife sat me down and began explaining how she was unhappy, that she felt I don't give her the attention she needs, don't meet her needs, and doesn't feel like she has a partner in me. I was so sad to hear this. I would have done anything to make her happy, and I vowed to work harder to meet her expectations. She said she needs space, and that she wants to take the summer apart so that she can miss me again, but in no way did she want to see other people or that she wanted a divorce. This all came after a night where we were all at a party together. I said I wanted to leave early, which I did, but she decided to stay. I later learned that she drunkenly walked home with my friend at the end of the party. Over the course of the summer, she and I communicated. We did not see each other, but we talked. I took care of our dog. The narrative was the same. I am unhappy, but unsure about divorce. My responses were consistently, this marriage is the most important thing in my life, and working to fix it is my priority. I was apologetic for making her feel the way she felt, but it's not as if I was some deadbeat who didn't do anything to help, or was never around. I did all the cleaning, all the cooking, all the grocery shopping. I managed all of our finances. I cared for her through consistent acts of kindness and service. What she was lacking was more of an emotional connection, but she's just as guilty of not cultivating that in our relationship. During the summer, she dropped a bomb on me. She said, I don't think we should keep working at school together. She said either you resign, or I will. She had always wanted to move on from working there, to start a family, and live a more normal life. I think she blamed me for not doing more to get us out of there. Anyway, I begrudgingly took one for the team and resigned mid-summer. I did this purely because I thought it was what she needed for us to improve our marriage. I now needed to find a new job, and a new place to live. She didn't even want to live together anymore. It was extremely stressful, but I took it because I loved her and thought doing what she wanted would help. Her birthday was at the end of the summer. I thought this would be a good opportunity to show her how much I cared. I bought her some very nice Tiffany's diamond earrings. She ended up telling me that she wanted to be left alone on her birthday. I gave her the earrings, and she ended up giving them back to me. I was curious about what she was doing on her birthday. We were both still at our camps, even though the summer was basically over. So, I looked at her location on my phone. She wasn't at her camp, but instead she was down the road at the family lake house of my friend. I drove over there to find her car and his truck in the driveway. They were sitting on the couch next to each other, alone on her birthday. I was so angry and disgusted. I confronted them, of course. He said nothing, like a coward, and all she said was that she needed a friend on her birthday. I told her I don't believe her and don't trust her and stormed off. Over the next few days I began to get very suspicious. She was now back at school, along with my friend, so I was naturally extremely anxious and curious about what was going on there. I ended up downloading our cell phone records for the past few months, which turned out to be truly heartbreaking. I learned that the two of them sent each other over 9,100 texts between May 15 and August 15. Almost 100 per day. I was so shocked and disturbed by what I had learned. How was that even possible? We were all at camp, busy, around kids, supervising kids in a setting where you aren't supposed to use your phone. Oftentimes they were up extremely late into the evening, 2 or 3 a.m. texting each other. As you can imagine, I was devastated to learn this. I had been hanging out with my friend all summer, only to learn he was secretly texting my wife the whole time. I confronted them about this, and the story was that she began texting him as a friend to discuss the issues of her marriage. They were just friends. I couldn't begin to imagine how two people who were just friends could send that many texts over such a short amount of time. My intuition told me it was all bullshit. I should have just divorced her right then, but I held on for what little hope remained. I thought maybe there was a chance that they really were just being friendly. Maybe there was still hope for us. I spent the entire fall September, November, reiterating my commitment to her, sending my love, expressing how much I missed her, only to get very little in return from her. I expressed time and time again that I am worried about her and my friend there at school. She told me adamantly on multiple occasions that there was absolutely nothing going on, and that there never would be. She had absolutely no interest in a relationship with him. At this time, my friend and I were not speaking. I had told all of my other camp friends about what I had learned and expressed my fears that my ex-wife was having an affair with him. Because we were all such close friends, this really alienated my friend and my ex-wife. They had many people from multiple communities viewing them through a different lens. Eventually, in November, my ex-wife filed for divorce. I could sense it was coming to that, but I wanted to do everything I could to save the marriage, even with the wildly uncomfortable relationship she had begun with my friend. I was willing to forgive her. In December, she called to tell me that she was going to pursue a relationship with my friend. This was so horrible. The worst news I have ever received. I just wanted to die. As it turns out, she didn't even tell me the truth at that moment. The truth was that she and my friend had actually been dating since the beginning of September, and had been seeing each other secretly all summer. I learned this through my ex-wife's friends, who spilled the beans on the subject. I have been so upset, so distraught since learning this. I spend every waking moment wishing I was dead. I feel so insignificant. The pain of being pushed aside for someone else is truly horrible. Add in the horrible lies and deceit, and the betrayal from two people you trusted so deeply, it makes you truly question if life is worth living. Why even try to trust another human being ever again? The only thing that gives me relief is when my friends tell me that the two of them have shown their true colors, and have lost many friends because of this. I understand being unhappy in a marriage. But to complain about that to your husband's friend, especially one who you knew your husband was concerned about, is so wildly inappropriate. The lies to my face on so many occasions were so hurtful. This situation makes me question everything. Did she ever love me? Did she always secretly want to be with my former friend? How could they be comfortable with this? What will their families think when they bring each other home? I got pushed out of a job so that my ex-wife could pursue a relationship with one of the groomsmen in our wedding. I am not perfect, and never claimed to have been, but I was a loving husband who wouldn't have been caught dead doing something like this to my ex-wife. Pursuing another woman absolutely never crossed my mind. I simply don't understand how they could hurt me like this. They have both shown such little remorse, and that makes me sick. The image of them together, sleeping in the bed I built, using the gifts from our wedding, makes me want to end it all. I can't take another minute of this pain. Maybe she didn't want to be with me anymore, I can accept that. But to do what she did and lie so elaborately to me in the process is cruel and unforgivable.
Subscribe.